Hidden beneath the sands of time in the far reaches of Africa lie forgotten kingdoms that once held immense power. These kingdoms shaped not only the African continent, but the entire world. Civilizations so advanced, their influence reverberates in the very fabric of history. Though many have been obscured by time, conquest, and the shadows of colonialism. But today, we are bringing them back into the light. We are about to embark on a journey through the forgotten African kingdoms that left their mark on history. Kingdoms that built cities, expanded trade routes, and challenged empires, only to be silenced by time. Let's start our journey in the Horn of Africa, where the Kingdom of Aksum once ruled supreme. This kingdom, which thrived from the 4th to 10th century, was a giant of its time, with a reach far beyond what we might imagine for a civilization located in the deserts of Africa. The Kingdom of Aksum controlled key trade routes between Africa, the Mediterranean, and Asia. Its influence stretched from modern-day Ethiopia to the Arabian Peninsula. The city of Aksum, its capital, was one of the world's greatest cities, boasting monumental obelisks, grand palaces, and a thriving marketplace. In trade, Aksum was a global powerhouse, trading gold, ivory, and incense. It was among the first African empires to adopt Christianity, well before much of Europe, becoming a beacon of religious and cultural advancement. But despite its immense power and innovation, Aksum's influence faded, buried beneath the tides of history. Now few remember the obelisks of Aksum, monuments that still stand, but few understand their significance today. Next, we travel west to the Kingdom of Kush. Stretching along the Nile River, Kush was the rival to ancient Egypt. It wasn't just a shadow of the great pharaohs, but a dominant force in its own right. The Kingdom of Kush, located in modern-day Sudan, was home to the mighty Kushite dynasty that ruled Egypt itself. Yes, you heard that right. Kushite kings conquered Egypt and sat upon its thrones as pharaohs. They ruled for nearly a century, leaving behind a rich legacy of monumental architecture and a fierce military tradition. Did you know that the famous pyramids of Sudan, more than 200 in total, outnumber those in Egypt? These towering structures are remnants of a powerful civilization that the world has largely forgotten. Moving west to the heart of Africa, we come upon the Kingdom of Mali, a kingdom that was once the richest on earth, its wealth so great it's almost unimaginable. Mali, at its peak in the 14th century, ruled over a vast swath of West Africa. But it wasn't just the land that was vast. The wealth? Exponential. It was in Mali where the legendary Mansa Musa reigned, an emperor so wealthy that when he made his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, he reportedly gave away so much gold that he single-handedly caused inflation in Egypt. His kingdom, with its thriving cities like Timbuktu, became a center of education, culture, and trade. Timbuktu was a hub of scholarship, boasting one of the largest libraries in the world at the time, with books and knowledge from all over Africa and the Islamic world. Yet, despite its incredible wealth and influence, Mali eventually declined, its once great cities crumbling. The very libraries that held the knowledge of the world were lost to time. Let's now move south to the Kingdom of Great Zimbabwe, one of the most powerful kingdoms of its time, yet one that remains cloaked in mystery. Great Zimbabwe, which thrived between the 11th and 15th centuries, was an architectural marvel. It was home to the stunning Great Zimbabwe ruins, the largest stone ruins south of the Sahara, with a complex of walls and towers that could rival the great castles of medieval Europe. Historians are still baffled by the intricacy of its architecture. The kingdom's wealth came from trading gold and ivory, and its influence stretched far across southern Africa. But despite its might, Great Zimbabwe faded, its legacy fading into obscurity. Today, the ruins remain a reminder of a once great civilization. As we move across Africa, the story of Aksum provides a stark warning. Its sudden fall, likely due to a combination of climate change and resource depletion, mirrors the fragility of even the most powerful empires. When we think of empires, we often think of their grandeur. But what of their downfall? What of the empires that fell not to conquest, but to the forces of nature, to bad governance, or to the isolation that comes with forgotten history? Let's now turn our gaze west once more, to the Kingdom of Oyo, one of the most powerful empires in West Africa that rivaled both the Mali and Songhai empires. Located in present-day Nigeria, the Oyo Empire was known for its military strength and a highly organized government. It controlled trade routes from the coast to the interior, establishing itself as a powerful force in West Africa. Oyo's army was legendary, and its cavalry was unmatched. The empire boasted vast wealth and cultural development, with art, literature, and a strong religious tradition that emphasized the worship of the Orisha gods. But, like so many great African empires, the Oyo Empire eventually faltered. Its military overextended, its political system unstable, and its wealth dissipating. The world moved on, and the Oyo Empire faded into the shadows. Finally, we reached the Kingdom of Kanem-Bornu, a state that once stretched across what is now Chad, Libya, Nigeria, and Cameroon. Kanem-Bornu was a state of great military might, rich in resources, and its people renowned for their diplomacy. The Kanem-Bornu Empire was one of the longest-lasting in African history, surviving for over 1,000 years. At its peak, it had a vast military and controlled key trade routes, particularly for slaves, ivory, and gold. While the world remembers the great kingdoms of Europe and Asia, Kanem-Bornu's legacy has faded from global consciousness, buried by the sands of time, though its impact on the development of African civilization is undeniable. The forgotten African kingdoms, these empires of knowledge, wealth, and power, shaped the course of history in ways we are only beginning to understand. They were not mere footnotes in history. They were the architects of an ancient, global world that helped lay the foundations of the modern world we live in today. As we stand on the shoulders of giants, it's time to rediscover and remember the empires that once ruled Africa and understand how their influence still resonates in the world today. The forgotten African kingdoms that shaped the world, an unspoken legacy waiting to be remembered. If you like this story, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the stories shaping our world. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you